Hello everyone, welcome to Veranda IAS in this series of lectures of current affairs linked with social issues. The topic of the day is Water Security for All initiative. Water Security for All initiative, which was in news recently, we'll discuss about this. The learning objectives of the day are to explain the Water Security for All initiative, discuss the reason for it being in news recently, why this initiative was in news recently, to describe the water crisis in India. The water crisis, which is one of the important concerns for a country like India whose population is increasing, which has large number of people for whom arranging water is a challenge. Then to list the causes of water crisis in India, what are the reasons behind water crisis in India? Why do we face water crisis in every summers? We see water tankers on the road coming because the water supply lines are not sufficient or there is dry water supply line in the villages, in the towns. Then we'll expand the steps taken by the government in this direction to tackle the water crisis in India. We'll discuss about the importance of clean water as well. What is the importance of clean water? Is it only for drinking purposes? Is it only that we require clean water to drink, or it is something else? We'll discuss all the aspects of importance of clean water. Then we'll list the challenges in water management in India. What are the problems in front of India to manage clean drinking water as well as overall maintain water management? We'll discuss on all these topics today in this session. We'll begin first and foremost, water security for all initiative. Before we move ahead, we discuss about this initiative. Let us discuss which SDG talk about water and clean water availability. Which sustainable development goal? It is SDG number 6. Clean water and sanitation. SDG number 6, clean water and sanitation. SDG number 6 tells us, or SDG number 6 is the goal to have affordable, clean drinking water as well as to maintain health, hygiene, sanitation. Coming back to water security for all initiative, the initiative's objective is mobilization of resources, collaboration, innovation, and a worldwide response to designated hotspots. What is it? The initiative's aim is mobilizing the resources, collaborating, bringing new innovations and overall worldwide response to designated hotspots. What are these hotspots? These are the areas identified where there is water crisis. These are the areas identified where people are not able to afford clean drinking water. As per UNICEF, United Nations Children's Fund, selected 37 countries as hotspots. These are the hotspots. UNICEF selected 37 countries as hotspots where children faced very unpleasant situations, where the children were facing very unpleasant, very unhygienic situations in absolute terms, necessitating the mobilization of global resources, support, and immediate action. That is what is concerned. See, that is why we are talking about the hotspots. In this list, in this UNICEF's declaration, Afghanistan, Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, Haiti, Kenya, Niger, Nigeria, Pakistan, Papua New Guinea, Sudan, and Tanzania were the particularly vulnerable, were the countries which were identified as the hotspots, were the countries which were facing severe water crisis. Next, we'll move ahead. Why this initiative was in news? The question arises, why are we studying it here? It was in March 2021 when UNICEF's new report came. A new report was released by UNICEF which stated that 1 in 5 children 1 in every 5 children reside in areas of high or extremely high water vulnerability worldwide. Such is the condition, and on this basis, UNICEF identified some hotspots, and those hotspots we are tackling with Water Security for All initiative. Every year on 22nd of March, we celebrate or we commemorate, we witness World Water Day. The report was released on World Water Day only, that is 22nd of March, this report of UNICEF. Next, Water Security for All initiative in news was because of release of this report. After that, what was the theme of World Water Day 2021? World Water Day 2021's theme was valuing water. It was valuing water, which emphasizes the importance of water in our everyday lives. Just remember the themes. If you have to quote it somewhere, you can quote it. Can fetch you some marks, else themes directly are not a trend in UPSC to be asked. So 2021 World Water Day's theme was valuing water, which emphasizes on the importance, on the value of water in our everyday lives. The research is part of UNICEF's Water Security for All effort. It is under UNICEF's Water Security for All effort, which identifies regions where physical water shortage threats intersect with inadequate water service levels. See, there are two things. One is physical water scarcity. One is physical water scarcity. This is what we all know, that water demand is high, but the availability of water is less. This is scarcity of water. There is very less water for the population or for the crops or for various purposes. Second is economic water scarcity. Economic water scarcity. What is it? Economic water scarcity is where there is no infrastructural development, where there is poor infrastructure, poor pipelines, and because of this, water is unable to reach the distant villages and the distant towns. That is economic water scarcity. So basically, with this effort of UNICEF, Water Security for All, it identifies the areas, the regions where physical water shortage threats intersect with inadequate water service levels. There is a scarcity and there is some inadequate water service levels as well. Some details about water crisis in India. Some details about the problems which India is facing. See, in India, we have a very severe and very serious problem related to water availability. Also, we discussed about physical water scarcity, we discussed about economic water scarcity. Both of these types are prevalent in India. Both of these types we can find in India. Because first, we have very large number of population, number of people to feed. We have water demand which is very high and we have water availability which is very less. Why we have water availability which is very less? Because see, we have plenty of water, but we do not have plenty of water which is good for use, which is available for use. Second thing is this, that whatever population is increasing, with the increase of population, it is not only the drinking water, it is water in crop production, water for other consumption. The use of water overall is keeping on increase. Now the question arises, if this use is keeping on increase, from where do we get water? We all know water is a natural water cycle is there, which gives us water. We are also, with increase in population, disturbing this water cycle. We are also bringing changes to the rain patterns because of deforestation or climate change or the excessive overpopulation or whatever we can say, excessive pollution, a number of human or anthropogenic activities. We are bringing changes and disturbances to the natural water cycle as well, because of which we have disturbed rains. Because of this, we see in 1 month we will be having that much of rains that our cities will be flooded. And after that, we will be having 3 months of dry Atmosphere, 3 months where there is only dryness, where there is non-availability of water. And apart from that, what is it? Whatever water we are having, whatever rain we are having, we are not even able to make proper use of that. We are not even able to recharge our groundwater levels. All the hand pumps and various sources of extraction of water earlier which we had, now most of them you might have seen are getting dried. Not even we have good infrastructural development for rainwater harvesting, for using that excess water which brings floods in a month for the remaining 3 months of dry time period. So this is what is challenge in front of India, and this is what is water crisis in India. This was number one, like the physical water scarcity, economic water scarcity is because of lack of infrastructural development, lack of proper planning, lack of proper technology to contain or to stop the water which is bringing floods and to store the water which can be used for a number of purposes ahead. So what are some statistics regarding water crisis in India? India contains 4% of the world's fresh water. Is it very large? No. Is it a very big number? No. Why? Because 17% of world's population is in India. And India only has 4% of fresh water of the world, and fresh water is what you use for drinking. So India contains very disproportionate fresh water resources. According to Niti Aayog assessment, National Institution for Transforming India, Niti Aayog's assessment, about 45% of India's population is suffering acute water scarcity. Nearly 45% of India's population is suffering acute water scarcity. See, nearly half of the population we can say. According to the report, approximately 40% of the population would lack access to safe drinking water by 2030. Such poor is the condition. Nearly 40% of the population will not be having a very basic amenity, that is safe drinking water. Water should be free of cost. Water should be clean water, should be available free of cost to all the people. Why? Because it is such a basic amenity. Before food it is water, we can say. But even the access to free and safe drinking water is a rare thing. In India, we are going to face the challenges ahead in upcoming years. The causes of the water crisis in India, we have discussed. Right now, we discussed that how we are disturbing the rain patterns, how we are not able to store the proper rainwater, and how the rainwater is converting into a hazardous thing like a flood and not able to utilize the true potential of that rainwater. Now we'll discuss more about the causes of water crisis. What you have to write in your answers. First and foremost, over-exploitation. Very, very important. Overpopulation is the problem. Okay. Lack of infrastructure is a problem. Okay. But what is over-exploitation? Over-exploitation is a problem created by us. Over-exploitation is a problem whose solution lies in us. Each one of us can contribute our bit and can prevent over-exploitation. Because see, we cannot build very great infrastructures, we cannot bring the changes in the rain pattern, we can say that single-handedly we cannot be responsible for overpopulation, but yeah, we are responsible for over-exploitation. We as a citizen, as an aware citizen, should take this hold and we should stop wasting each and every drop of water. Over-exploitation, not only the wastage but also unnecessary use. In some of the fields, in some of the crops, we have also seen unnecessary use. We have seen the problem of seepage. We have seen the problem of excess water using which is drained from the fields to the drains or the rivers after the uses. Next comes, that is because of lack of proper irrigation facilities, we can say. Next is changes in precipitation patterns as a result of various climatic changes, as a result of indirectly various human activities. Changes in the precipitation pattern, changes in the rain pattern. Earlier there was a definite period. If you remember your days of childhood, there would have been definite period when there will be summers, there will be winters, and there will be rains. But now we are seeing rains in winters as well, rains in summers as well, and we are not seeing rains in rainy season. So disturbed climatic pattern is also one of the important causes of water crisis in India. Next, misuse and mismanagement. What is it? You can just quote this, that wherever there is good rain, wherever there is good availability of water in those areas, in those states, we can cultivate the water intensive crop. But what we do? We cultivate rice, which is a water intensive crop in eastern Uttar Pradesh. Eastern Uttar Pradesh has not even drops of water to drink in the months of summers. There we cultivate what? There we cultivate rice. And then we keep crying that okay, we do not have water, we do not have proper crops, and we do not have proper produce as well. So this is what is misuse, mismanagement. We can train our farmers, we can tell them, our farmers already know, but we can tell them and train them with modern techniques and modern skills and tell them that how they have to use, how they have to manage things. Next is deforestation. In problems, almost every environmental related problems, you can quote deforestation. Again, deforestation is a cycle. Why deforestation? Because of increasing population, increasing needs of man, increasing need of land for man and the livelihood of man, for the residences of man, and a number of things. We are very rigorously following deforestation, cutting trees, cutting plants. With this, what is happening? Rain pattern is disturbed. That is okay. You all know in your class 5th, 6th schooling, you might have heard, you might have studied about the water cycle, that how plants help in vaporization and then water cycle. But apart from that, what we are doing, the plants, the very strong roots of plant which used to hold groundwater, they are also getting disturbed. The capacity of the soil to absorb the water is also getting disturbed. Then comes decrease in ability of numerous irrigation dams to store water. Decrease in ability of numerous irrigation dams to store water. The dams, again the loophole in the construction of the infrastructure of dams, we can say there are not enough number of dams as well, and also whatever dams are there, the ability of the irrigation dams to store water is not sufficient. Next, around 80% of India's 1.35 billion people relying on groundwater for drinking and irrigation. Very important. Nearly 80% of people of India, nearly 80% of India's population relies on groundwater for drinking as well as for irrigation purpose. And on one hand, this is the dependence on groundwater. On other hand, what we are doing to keep intact groundwater? Nothing. Rather, with deforestation, we are decreasing the capacity of the soil to store the groundwater. So this is also one of the important concerns. We are putting unnecessary burden on the groundwater. See, there is a concept of sustainable development. What is it? What is sustainable development? Our Common Future Report, 1987. Sustainable development is defined as the development where the demand, or we can say the need and the impact are equated. Like whatever development is done in a manner that there is no further impact on the, or no negative impact on the environment or other things. The development should be sustainable. The development should not be like we are building cities and cutting the trees. Rather, we have to plant similar trees at some, or more trees at some other places. That is what is sustainable development. For sure, we need land to build houses, but that does not mean that we have to clear the forest, because it is bearing a cost on the nature, on the environment, and overall on us, directly or indirectly on us. So similar pattern of sustainable development we need to follow here. We need to follow it here where we are putting a lot of unnecessary pressure on groundwater. We should give some time. We should come up with some techniques. with some things to recharge the groundwater as well, to maintain the groundwater levels as well. Next, India exporting millions of gallons of water each year as rice exporter. Rice is a crop which is water intensive. Water intensive crops we are exporting to other nations. It means indirectly increasing water burden, increasing water crisis, deepened water crisis in India. India keeps on exporting millions of gallons of water each year as rice exporter. Next, some schemes by the Government of India to tackle this problem. Steps taken by the Government of India to tackle water crisis in India. First and foremost, you can quote about Jal Shakti Abhiyan, Catch the Rain campaign. Jal Shakti Abhiyan, Catch the Rain campaign. Monsoon rains, which last 4 or 5 months, are the only supply of water for the majority of the country. The purpose of this project is to construct rainwater harvesting structures. Important. Modern day we have seen eco tags or eco buildings, something eco mark buildings. All these buildings, their maps are passed by the authorities only on a basis that these buildings have rainwater harvesting structures. Such strict following implementation of the rules is needed worldwide. It is popular in Maharashtra and in some other states that whatever building you want to construct, you want to build a house, first you need to get the map passed from the authorities, and authorities will check for certain things. One such thing is rainwater harvesting structure. So such strong and such implemented rules we need for rest of the country as well. Then comes Jal Jeevan Mission Urban. It was under the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. As proposed in budget of 2021-2022, this initiative aims to provide universal access to water to all homes. Universal access to water to all homes through functioning taps. See, what is the aim? There will be a water pipeline. Water will reach every household with taps. On taps, you need not to go to hand pumps, you need not to go and order water tanks. It will be tap in your houses. Aims at providing universal access to water to all homes through functioning taps in all statutory towns in accordance with Sustainable Development Goals, SDG number 6. Next important in this series is Jal Jeevan Mission Rural. By 2024, the aim of Jal Jeevan Mission Rural is to supply each rural family with 55 liters of water per person per day. Each rural family with 55 liters of water per person per day via functional household tap connections. Next is Swajal Yojana. What is it? It is a solar-powered community-owned drinking water initiative. Solar-powered community-owned drinking water initiative taken for long-term piped drinking water supply. Swajal Yojana. It was introduced in 115 of India's aspirational districts. 115 India's aspirational districts. Next is Gelmoney Yojana, Gelmoney program. What is it? It intends to add value and improve the quality of the existing rural drinking water supply program by focusing on water quality. Gelmoney program aims at improving the quality of the water. Rest were on focusing on the availability of water. Now it is improving the quality of water supply. The objective is accomplished by the installation of stand-alone purification systems in rural schools. Whatever water we are getting should be fit for drinking, potable water. For this, Gelmoney program aims at installation of stand-alone purification systems in rural schools. Next comes Atal Bhujal Yojana, which is a central sector scheme. which is a central sector scheme with the objective of improving groundwater management. Important, Bhujal, the name suggests you recharging the bhumi or the groundwater. It is a central sector scheme with the objective of improving groundwater management in 7 states through community engagement in specified priority regions. Community participation is required for this. So this was about the steps taken by Government of India. Now if you are getting a question in your question paper, in your mains, then how you will write the answer? You will quote these schemes and then you have to conclude as these steps are good, these steps are positive development. But what we need still progress, still the problem is long, and then for this you have to give the solution, that participation of awareness of each and every individual, more such schemes, and then strict or stringent implementation of these schemes is what is required. Importance of clean water. What is the importance of clean water? Is it only for health purpose? Is it only that you will drink clean water? It means you will be healthy and that is okay. Some other things are there as well. What are these? The following are the importance of availing clean water. If you will be drinking clean water, it means less waterborne diseases, less infections, good immunity, less expenditure on health, okay, and very healthy youths to take care of the nation. Then fulfilling SDG, the global things, the global aims and objectives tell us to be at par with clean water availability. It will be one step in fulfilling SDG. It will help in recharge of groundwater level. It means if we are availing clean water, we are implementing these schemes, we will be having good groundwater level, which will be beneficial for soil, for cultivation, for crops, for agriculture as well. Better local infrastructure will be developed as a result of availing clean water. If we are providing clean water to every household via tap lines, it means good infrastructure. For those tap lines, we will be employing people. It means the schemes provide employment as well. Next, what are some challenges? The challenges are water is a state subject. Water is a state subject. Should be concurrent subject, right? Water is a state subject. There is a very less water availability for India's population. Population is very high. Availability of water is very less. India has higher demand of water than the availability. India has still not built the capacity and skills to face the challenge, the infrastructure to face the challenge. There is a slippage problem in India with regards to water as well. You can write some of these challenges as well in your answers. So this was all for today, the Water Security for All initiative, the reason for it being in news recently, the water crisis in India, the causes of water crisis in India, the steps taken by the government to tackle water crisis in India, and then the importance of clean water. Also, we discussed about the challenges in water management in India. This was all for this session, for today's session, Water for All initiative. We will continue our discussion from here. Till then, stay tuned, keep studying. Thank you so much.